Shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this update. Whether you need a domain, a website, an online store, make your next move with Squarespace. Start a free trial today and get 10% off your first purchase when you go to squarespace.com/theknow and use offer code KNOW. That's K-N-O-W. Welcome to The Know, I'm Ashley. If you're wondering just how far Bandicoot's legs can stretch, it's like the new woodchuck would. We've got a little bit more of a hint because the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is now performing well enough, get this, to rival Call of Duty. That's big words. The Insane Trilogy has now enjoyed another week at the #1 spot in the UK, which makes 4 weeks in a row at #1 and 6 weeks at #1 total since its release. According to GamesIndustry.biz, the last game to perform that well was Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Yes, Infinite Warfare, believe it or not, which saw 5 weeks in a row at #1 at the end of 2016. So now Crash isn't just beating Zelda, Splatoon 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, some of the biggest titles of the year, it's even pulling similar numbers to Call of Duty. It'll be interesting when we finally get some sales numbers for the compilation, and even more interesting if or when it goes multi-platform, if you saw that update yesterday. And speaking of Call of Duty, we've got some more details about the next game's private multiplayer beta. Sledgehammer outlined what we can expect from the upcoming beta, which is for those who pre-order the game when it drops for PlayStation 4 users on August 25th. According to a new blog post, players will be able to enlist in the game's divisions: infantry, expeditionary, airborne, armored, or mountain fighting, to see how progression works in World War II. Plus, 3 of the game's multiplayer maps and several modes like Team Deathmatch, Domination, and Hardpoint. They were also nice enough to list what won't be in the beta, so you know not to expect it. Stuff like the social space, supply drops, and ranked play. A public beta for Call of Duty World War II happens from September 1st to September 4th on PS4 and Xbox One. Could an HD remaster of Okami be on the way? Oh god, I hope so. Kotaku UK says that Capcom is working on a port of the game for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Why not Switch? Anyway, Kotaku says that 2 different retail chains in Europe have added Okami HD to their release calendars with a date of December 12th. If you're not familiar, you really owe it to yourself to be. Okami originally released in 2006. It was an action-adventure game that it told a story involving several Japanese myths. It was critically acclaimed, with the PlayStation 2 version getting a 93 on Metacritic. Capcom released an HD version in 2012 for PlayStation 3. You really should check it out. If you like Zelda-type games, it's one of the only games I've ever seen out Zelda, and it is stunningly beautiful. Capcom hasn't actually confirmed anything yet about this HD version for these new consoles, but fingers crossed, I will keep you posted whenever I hear more. I love that game, in case I didn't make it clear. The in-universe follow-up to Saints Row 4, Agents of Mayhem, is officially out, and don't feel too bad if you didn't know about that. If you aren't a huge fan of Saints Row, you don't follow it already, you might have easily missed it, because it seems like it's a bit of a surprise to just about everyone. But now reviewers of Agents of Mayhem, they're dropping their thoughts along with the Metacritic and OpenCritic score, because apparently not that great. The game is now sitting at a 68 on both Metacritic and OpenCritic, with the general consensus being that it doesn't do enough interesting stuff with the open world genre, but it can be fun in spots if you like what the previous Saints Row games did. Destructoid said in its 7 out of 10 review, "Despite these technical flaws, I still had a really fun time messing around with the agents. Enjoying Agents of Mayhem is sort of like watching a cartoon you used to love without the rose-colored glasses of nostalgia or the naivete of youth. You'll get more of a kick laughing at it rather than with, but there's a smile on your face either way." So, worth checking out if you really like the Saints Row games. They were always really delightfully ridiculous. PC gamers everywhere have been a little bit confused over the last several days because a listing for Destiny suddenly showed up on SteamDB along with the ability to buy the in-game currency, silver, on Steam. So, does that mean that Destiny 2's release on Activision Blizzard's client was also going to bring Destiny 1 to Steam? That's kind of what everyone's been wondering, but sadly, for all hopeful guardians out there, the answer is no. Bungie community manager Deej has confirmed that the listing was a mistake, tweeting, "Destiny transactions on Steam were made available in error. All purchases will be refunded manually by Valve. Sorry for the confusion." Which, thanks for the clarification, but that does seem like a really weird mistake to make, and one that maybe possibly has a story I'd like to hear behind it, but oh well, at least now we know. Nier Automata might be a giant downer of a game, but it was a big ol' ray of sunshine for someone, and that someone is Platinum Games. According to studio co-founder Hideki Kamiya, the game came out at a tough time for Platinum, just after the cancellation of Scalebound, which the company had put years into developing, and that's a huge financial loss there. And prior to that, the company's other previous games, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants in Manhattan, and Star Fox Zero, well, those ones were also kind of busts. Kamiya said the studio would have been in big trouble if Nier Automata hadn't been a success. He wrote a thank you note on Twitter to the game's director Yoko Taro, saying that Yoko-san saved Platinum and I cannot thank him enough. Us too. Thank you, Yoko Taro, for saving Platinum, because Platinum's awesome. Bad news for all you PC gamers out there hoping against hope to get Microsoft's new wireless adapter for Xbox controllers. You know, the one that's like not enormous, because unfortunately that one has been delayed to next year. The $24.99 adapter was supposed to come out in the last week, allowing up to 8 controllers to connect to a PC wirelessly, and man, it was a much nicer package than the previous adapter. The one that's out now is so like wide that you can't plug anything in around it. Sometimes if you've got a recessed port, it doesn't fit all that great. It's been a mess, and this was gonna fix it. But unfortunately, Microsoft has quietly moved the release back to January 2018. They haven't really offered any explanation as to why this is the case, but maybe want to find another solution for connecting your Xbox One controllers to play games in the meantime, or continue whatever you've been doing for a little bit longer. Did PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds possibly just get some big time funding? Well, that was the rumor recently after reports surfaced that Chinese megacorp Tencent, you know, the guys that own Riot, had invested in Bluehole Studios, which makes Battlegrounds. If you're not familiar, Tencent, I mean, one of the largest publicly traded companies in the world, already noted Riot. They also have a minority stake in Epic Games, Activision Blizzard. So, did it invest in the Battlegrounds developer? Maybe, maybe not. Actually, earlier today, industry analyst Daniel Ahmad poured a little bit of cold water on that rumor. He tweeted, Bluehole has said that Tencent didn't invest in them, but I don't think that's the end of the story here. So maybe it's a potential future investment? Or maybe they're gonna invest in the next game, the one that Brendan Green said he wants to make a survival game? Well, TBD. It looks like the Secret World MMO is getting adapted to a TV series, and all thanks to Johnny Depp. Depp's production company Infinitum Nihil will produce a series which will focus on a war between secret societies that includes the Illuminati. The MMO was originally released in 2012 by Norwegian developer Funcom and was recently rebooted as Secret World Legends. No word yet on what kind of release date this show might have, but the TV adaptation is being co-written by James Hart, who wrote the series Crossbones, as well as the 1991 movie Hook, so you know it'll be fun. Hopefully they get some bangerang in there. Just sneak a little bangerang in for us. Game of Thrones is getting very serious about spoilers. So serious. 4 people in India have been arrested for leaking an episode of the show before it aired. Apparently, the 4th episode of the current season was snatched from an international distributor for HBO and was leaked out before it aired last week. We talked to you guys about that then, warned you about the spoilers that were floating around the internet. The 4 suspects are charged with criminal breach of trust and computer-related offenses. It's apparently a separate case, though, from the other leaks that have been coming from the infamous HBO hack that also happened recently. So those 2 things happening parallel, separate cases. If you're wondering, by the way, Sunday's Game of Thrones set yet another record. The 5th episode was watched by 10.7 million people, and that's overnight numbers. The previous record that they already had set like a couple episodes ago this season was 10.2, so it is climbing like crazy, and that's not even adjusted for HBO streaming or HBO Now streaming numbers, all that. So, whew, it's a juggernaut. However, don't leak episodes, just a friendly warning, just wait until Sunday like the rest of us. And as a bonus, you don't go to prison. How's that? All right, that's the news we have for you guys today. Let us know what you think of these stories in the comments down below. To make sure you get news from every corner of the internet every day, like this video. If you're new to this channel, subscribe to the know. Big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this update. Like, everyone needs their own corner of the internet, and Squarespace can help you make a nice one with their award-winning website templates. Plus, you don't have to install anything, you don't have to patch anything, you don't have to upgrade anything. It's all taken care of, and there's support 24/7 if you have any questions how to make the most out of your website. So whether you want your next move to be writing about video games, that's fun fact how I got into E3 my first time, I made a website with video games. Or if you want to write about comics, or if you want to showcase a creative portfolio, whatever you want to do, Squarespace has you covered. Start a free trial today, get 10% off your purchase if you decide you want to go for it. To get it, just go to squarespace.com/theknow and use offer code KNOW. That's KNOW.